Hey, what's up, fam? What's up? Want to talk about Chris Gilbert. We're gonna let some people get up in here. I want brothers and sisters to actually hear this, hear what I gotta say about it. All right. If you don't know about Chris Gilbert, go and look it up. You don't know about, well, let me just start off. This is the Thawahgabar for Black Authentic Truth. Thank you for rocking with me. Thank y'all for supporting me. I want to talk real briefly about Chris Gilbert. If you don't know who he is, go and look him up. Go and look him up right now. Go and look Chris Gilbert up and see what we're dealing with, what we're talking about, what I'm going to be going over. It's going to be real brief. I'll probably cover about 2 more different videos, but the main topic of this live is the brother Chris Gilbert. All right. So make sure you like, make sure you share. Please like right now. Like if you're watching this feed, like it and share it if possible. You know what I mean? I know some of the things I'll be saying is radical and on the edge, and you might be feeling some type of way. You don't want to share it to friends or family, but at least like it, okay? At least like it. And I'm gonna definitely go in and we're just gonna break some stuff down, okay? Yeah, no sweat. So let me get to it. I'm gonna get to it where I want to go first. You know what? Because of time, I think I'm just gonna go straight into Chris Gilbert. So let me put this up real quick. And if you want to hear a in-depth breakdown, I will be on Hollywood Israelites live in about an hour. You want to hear an in-depth breakdown, a biblical breakdown on the brother Chris Gilbert. It's the brother that I'm talking about. Christopher or Chris Gilbert. So this brother was pushed into the water, pushed into a lake. His friends knew he couldn't swim, and he was pushed into the lake, and he was underwater for almost 10 minutes. So it makes you wonder who who is your friend. You don't need enemies when you got friends. I'm gonna read from the Atlantic Black Star. It says bystanders jumped in to save Louisiana man underwater for 20 minutes. Now this says 20 minutes, but most reports say he was underwater for almost 10 minutes after his white friend pushed him in. It says that an aspiring medical student in Shreveport, Louisiana was declared brain dead after his friend shoved him into the lake while knowing he couldn't swim. Instead of helping, they stood by and watched as the man struggled to save himself, according to police. Christopher Gilbert, who last year earned his master's in biological science from Louisiana Tech University, made a miraculous recovery. So this brother has recovered. He's made a miraculous, it's a miracle that he's recovered. The doctor had considered him brain dead after being underwater and being on having to be on life support, and all of his major organs having to be supported by a machine. Okay. Let me read a little bit more. Let me see. This is what his mother said. His mother said, the doctor called us in and told me that at that time he was brain dead and the rest of his organs were starting to fail, that we had 72 hours on the ECMO machine. I'm sorry. That we had 72 hours on the ECMO machine. It's sort of like dialysis for the lungs, and they had to put him on a ventilator. Gilbert's mom said of a call she received last month. So this happened a while ago. She says, I was devastated. She said, I felt like my life had ended in that moment. My son is aspiring to be a medical doctor. My son is going to be a medical doctor. He got his master's last year in biological science. He's preparing for medical school. So for this to happen to him, I was just devastated. It's unclear why Gilbert was under the surface for so long. Well, you know, many reports say that his friends didn't help, they just watched. So, you know, naturally, I was wondering who was his brother's friends. Were they black? Were they white? We're talking about Shreveport, Louisiana. So let me just play this news clip and we'll get a little bit more in depth. Now, this is, you know, talking about his recovery, his miraculous recovery.
On 26-year-old Chris Gilbert, who was allegedly pushed into a lake by one of his friends. According to family, Chris was submerged underwater for more than 10 minutes. Thankfully, he survived. And after spending more than 2 weeks on life support, Chris's mother says tonight he is officially off life support. This is truly amazing. Take a look at your screen right now. This is a recent photo of Chris sent to us from his mother, Yolanda. As you can see, he looks to be in much better shape. Tonight, he is still in the hospital, but family say he is doing much better. The incident happened a little more than 2 weeks ago in Farmerville, Louisiana. Chris was hanging out with friends at a lakefront restaurant when one of his friends allegedly pushed him into the water. This left Chris with major brain damage, and he was on life support, but according to family, his health is improving. And although it has been significant improvement in his health, his family is still searching for justice and answers.
In the days of recovery with him progressing, it's still a struggle, it's still a battle because we don't know day for day what to expect. And I just want his quality of life to be restored. I don't want my son to have to suffer from something that was not his fault totally.
It's one black kid and a group of white kids that's his friends, and one of them pushed him into the water. But nothing is happening.
Wait, you hear that? One black kid and a whole bunch of white kids, that's his friends, and one of them pushed him into the water. I wanted to know who was his friends and who stood there and watched him drown. We're talking about Shreveport, Louisiana, and you heard it. I don't know if this was his father. And let me just rewind this. I don't know if it was his father. I don't know if it was his uncle. But this is the sediment.
White kids, that's his friends.
And that was not his fault, totally be restored. I don't want my son totally.
It's one black kid and a group of white kids that's his friends. And one of them pushed him into the water.
This is the thing. Now you hear his uncle. I don't know who he is. He's a family member. He's definitely a family member. But you hear the sentiment of this family member. You hear what this brother is saying is, now this has happened to him. He's one black kid. These are white kids that somebody pushed him in the water. Out of these white kids. Now, I'm not blaming anybody, but this is the mindset. Why we don't have this mindset earlier on? You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm in Southern California, and I know that racism exists. I know that I can't trust certain people. I know not to get too comfortable. But I gotta ask my brothers and sisters in the South, because it seems like y'all, a lot of times, y'all, even with what didn't happen in the South, in the history of black people, y'all really don't, y'all find yourselves in these situations. Like this brother, Chris Gilbert. And it, to me, it's across the board. Now you think about Sade Robinson. Excuse me. You think about Sade Robinson, the sister that was dismembered and her body's put in different parts of Milwaukee, and how trusting we are. But where was that? Like his sentiment, like it's my family member, one black kid, and then it's these white kids. Why he didn't warn him before? Why didn't see why now is it all about, you know, he was with them? Why didn't you warn them before? Like, you better watch out. Don't put your guard down. Don't think everything is sweet. That's what we're missing. We're missing that in a lot of these cases. And I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Sade Robinson. Y'all remember the sister that she was dating a white man, and they was at a party, and she ended up at the bottom of a swimming pool, and nobody knew what happened to her. Her boyfriend was at the party, her white boyfriend. This was a sister. I can't remember the city, but she ended up at the bottom of a swimming pool. and nobody knew what was wrong. Nope, nobody knew how it happened. Y'all remember the sister that had all of her friends? She was at a slumber party. These are grown women. One black sister with Caucasian women, and then she comes up deceased at that sleepover, and nobody knew what happened. And so once again, we got to keep our eyes open and understand and keep our guards up. Like everything ain't sweet. A lot of times y'all think we live in a post-racial society. Like the things that happened in the past, they don't happen anymore. Those racial things and that hatred, it doesn't exist anymore. It still exists. And then when you think about things like, I don't know if y'all remember in Ferguson, after that Mike Brown thing, what actually came out was the fact that they were basically prosecuting black people at a rate that was, past the normal rate. And so they found out that they were conspiring to prosecute black people to make money by sending them away. And everybody was in cahoots. The judge with the DA, with the district, with the public defender, with the lawyers and everything. Everybody was running a circuit on minorities or black people. And so when y'all live in these towns, especially you brothers and sisters, y'all live in the South and y'all live in these remote towns where everybody knows everybody, and the judge he's brother to the chief of police, and the chief of police, he's married to the district attorney and all of that. Y'all got to watch out because they'll just try to cover it up. I believe they was trying to cover this story up, but it got to the mass media. Now it said that this brother, at first they were saying that he was brain dead, and like his doctors were telling his mother he had 72 hours on the machine. But now he's made a recovery. The Lord was with that brother. He was with him, and hopefully he'll be able to recover all the way so he can still pursue his dreams and being a doctor. But look at who he was around. Now, and there's a video where, let me play the video real quick, where you see who's around, who's staring at him under the water, fighting for his life. And right away, he should have known better. And this is in the South, but a lot of our people in the South still don't know better. And it seems like our brothers and sisters in the South are worse than, like I said, I'm in a liberal state. I'm in a state where they say racism doesn't exist, but nah, I'm never putting my guard down. I know what goes on. I was blessed to get a history lesson when I was young. I got that Emmett Till history lesson when I was like in the 5th grade. I got to see Eyes on the Prize. I don't know if y'all ever seen Eyes on the Prize. I documented it in one of my videos, but Eyes on the Prize was an actual real documentary that covered the Emmett Till case from beginning to end. And it actually showed you Emmett Till in the casket. It showed you the funeral. Well, I seen that when I was like 5 years old. So I got a real reality check of what this world is really about and where my people stand in America. But I think about the brothers and sisters in the South. A lot of y'all act like y'all don't forgot what the history was. And y'all just be so relaxed and y'all just be so at ease until something like this happens again. You know what I mean? And so the point is that we don't live in a post-racial society. We don't. I know we like to think that everything is everything, and we no longer have to worry about hardcore racism. You don't have to. It's not blunt anymore. It's covert. It's online. It's behind the color of law, behind policies and procedures, and behind saying, oh, maybe we're going to go with another candidate. We feel that you're not as qualified as the other candidate. Try back in 6 months. You know what I mean? Let me play this real quick. I mean, I don't got much time, so I just want to get into it as much as I can. Remove this. Let me add this. And I want to show you. I'm gonna blow this up so you can see. Now look. Now imagine if that had happened at night. It would have been R.I.P. Chris Gilbert. We know what happened. We know that it wasn't an accident, because that's what they would have said. They would have said it was an accident. But luckily it happened in the daytime, and somebody recorded, somebody that was looking at the incident. In fact, he wasn't even helped by the people that was right there. It says that somebody from a nearby restaurant jumped in the water and saved him while he's struggling, and they knew he couldn't swim. They knew he couldn't swim. When somebody sees this video and you're looking at this live, I want you to put it in the comments the name of the sister that ended up deceased at the bottom of a swimming pool at a party. She was there with her white boyfriend at a party with predominantly white people, and when questioned, nobody knew how she ended up at the bottom of that pool. I totally forgot. This happened some years ago. I totally forgot about that. But the point is that if it had happened at nighttime with this brother, Chris Gilbert, no one would have known. And I'm not saying that literally, I'm just saying that would have been on the record. Nobody knows what happened. They were all partying and singing a song, and next thing they know, he fell into the water. They would have said, the police would have said, there's no signs of foul play. We haven't found any signs of foul play. Luckily, somebody took a video. Luckily, somebody videotaped this while he's struggling and fighting for his life in the water. They're sitting there looking at him, yelling at him, or whatever. There's no sound on the video. Let me run it again for y'all. There's no actual sound on the video, and I'm gonna blow it up one more time for y'all. What's going on? After 30 seconds, they said he was down there 10 minutes under the water. And they're sitting there like he's scuba diving. Meanwhile, one of them done pushed him in. But what the brother said is that, listen, he's a black person. He was with all white people. Somebody pushed him in, and nobody's doing anything about it. So we're gonna see what happens. I don't know, fam. We're going to see how this plays out. But I think when it comes to pushing people in bodies of water, that should be considered like a crime. Because if you push somebody in the water and they pass away, you push somebody in the ocean, or you push somebody over, out of a boat and they drown, then you're culpable. But even if they don't drown, it's a possibility that they can. So that should be considered a crime on the level of attempted homicide or something like that, manslaughter at least, or something like that, right? Because we all grew up where people, you play games, and you might be trying to climb a ledge or standing on something, and somebody push you down. As a kid, it's childish, it's foolish, but it happens. Or even as a young adult, you push somebody like, pretend to push somebody out in the street or something like that. But certain things you shouldn't play with. It's not a game. And it damn sure is not a game. Even in a pool, if somebody's telling you, I can't swim, I don't know how to swim, why would you push them into the water? Now, somebody that is immature, a child would do that. But as an adult, there's no excuse. It should be no excuse. It should be a law like, nah, you pushed them, even though she or he didn't drown, they couldn't swim and they almost drowned. Somebody had to go in there and save them. And you're going to be charged with whatever that penalty is, whatever they come up with, you're going to be charged with that. I think it should be a law. It should be a crime to push someone in the water. But this is also something that when you look at it, look at this brother real quick. Just look at him. Let me pull him up. Look at this brother. It said this brother graduated from Louisiana Tech. You know, he's got his bachelor's. Well, let me see. Let me be correct in this. He's got his, I'm sorry, he has his master's in biological science. This is the image of Black excellence, right? This is Black excellence. This is, you know, Black achievement. Somebody that is doing right, that is doing everything right. But the one thing that he did wrong was trust the people he is with. That's the one thing he did wrong. Right? He trusted those women he was with. And just to reiterate, like the brother was saying, he's pointing out the fact that he was Black. Now, this is a family member. He's pointing out the fact that he was Black and they were white. Well, why you didn't point that out to him before he ended up there? Because I sure will warn my nephews and my sons and, you know, the youngsters in the community about, you know, don't get comfortable. Don't put down your guard. I know you think everybody is your friend. I know you want to be a part of the club, but you should love your people first. This ain't just for Chris Gilbert. This is for sisters like Sade Robinson that went on that date, that first date that she was excited to go with that monster, with that seed of the devil, Maxwell Anderson. You see the pictures of him and he looks like a psychopath. Well, he did exactly what a psychopath does to that beautiful young sister. Not only that, when they went to his house, he had a dungeon in his house, a sex dungeon in his house. They found more blood in his house that wasn't Sade Robinson's blood. So Lord knows how many other sisters he has done this to. But everything ain't sweet. We think everything is sweet. And we need to teach young brothers and young sisters from a young age, don't put your guards down. Don't think that you're accepted. Don't think that you're in the club, because you might just end up like the sister Sade Robinson. You might just end up like this brother, Chris Gilbert, and have to find out the hard way. Or you might end up like that sister that I was asking somebody to post about the sister that ended up at the bottom of a swimming pool with her white boyfriend at a party that was predominantly white teens, and no one knew how she ended up there, not even her boyfriend. What the brother say, he said, consider the assumption is that Black people can't swim. That should be at the minimal attempted homicide with a hate crime enhancement. You damn right. You damn right. And what the brother said is true, considering that most Black people can't swim. I can swim. Let me tell you something. I can swim. I grew up swimming in a swimming pool at a community center. I think the deepest part of the water was like 9-10 feet. So we grew up swimming, right? But let me tell you, when I first went to the beach, and I didn't grow up around the beach, and I got in the water and I'm seeing people, I'm seeing kids, and these are all like white kids, people on surfboards and everything, way out there towards like the end of the pier. So I'm in the water, I'm swimming, and I'm like, shit, I can do this. I'm swimming, you know, I'm doing my thing. Man, a wave hit me so crazy that when it hit me, it knocked I had shorts on, but I also had, like, you know, the shorts you wear, like compression shorts under. And okay, let me see. I probably was like 20, 23, somewhere in the age. Okay, I was like 25. I think I was like 25 when I actually went out in the water. I always went to the beach, but when I actually went into the water, right? And I'm like, I'm strong, you know what I'm saying? I can hold my breath underwater and all that. The ocean is a different animal, you know what I'm saying? And when that wave hit me, it knocked my shorts off. It drugged me down deep. And I felt myself trying to fight and get up against the current, but I couldn't. I started to get tired. And I just gave up. I just said, you know what? If this is it, this is it. And so what I did was I put my arms out and I stopped fighting. I floated to the top, right? Floated to the top. Some way I made it back to the shore. But usually, what I've seen, a lot of our people, they don't swim. So what the brother is saying is it should be at the minimum an attempted homicide with a hate crime enhancement. Because you push me in the water, then you sit there and laugh while I'm struggling. And you're sitting there telling me to come on, but you're not moving. You're not helping me. You're not jumping in the water. You're watching me basically lose my life, right? Right. Yeah. So from that time, I don't do the ocean no more. And when I take my kids to the ocean, I'm very weary for them to go out, you know, so deep. Now I know, like, when you're in the water, you with the current, you want to swim sideways. You don't want to swim into the wave. You want to swim sideways, right? But that's why if you can't swim, just stay away from the water. And I'm not saying this story I'm not bringing up because I'm saying, like, oh, look, some white people push them in the water. We've grew up like that. We grew up with people trying to dunk us in the water. When you're real little, splash you with water, or just pick you up and slam you in a swimming pool or something like that. When you don't, you're like, nah, I'm cool. I don't want it. We've done that, or we've had that done to us in, you know, growing up black in a swimming pool. But when a person doesn't want to be around water, and this to the people that can't swim, I'll advise them not to even be near the water. Don't be near the water, and don't be with people that are spontaneous like that and silly and stupid like that. Well, this brother, he's, you know, he's a grown man. He's in college, and I'm going to assume these women he's with, they go to the same school or they grew up together or something like that. But they're all white women. And on that picture, they're all standing there. Let me blow this up for you again. They're all standing there. The Lord definitely was with this brother. Right. Nefarious behaviors. You're right, Bulls fan 25. The Lord was definitely with this brother. They said he didn't have much time to live. His lungs and his organs was only at 20%, but then he made a miraculous turnaround. But I'm sure he learned from that lesson. I'm sure of it. You know what I mean? He's moving his hands. He's responding. Now they talking about he was going to be brain dead. but I'm sure he learned a hard lesson and he'll never forget it, and he'll never trust them again. He'll never trust people like that again, especially around a body of water. But it's just sad. And let's just see what they're going to do. Are they going to bring charges on whoever? Because they're not saying who did it. We know that it was a group of women, but it's not coming out who did it. Well, let's just see. We know how things usually go. But for you brothers and sisters down south, man, y'all gotta wake up, man. Everything ain't sweet. Everything ain't cool with these people. And like I said before, he's lucky this didn't happen that night, because he would be a casualty and we would never know what happened. All we'll get is there was no signs of foul play from the people who was with him. We don't know what happened. We were just partying. We were doing our thing. And all of a sudden he fell in the water, because that's what they were saying at first on this one. They were saying that he fell in the water. Then one of the people said, no, somebody pushed him in the water, knowing that he could not swim. So let me know what y'all think about this video, this live. Y'all give me y'all thoughts in y'all comments. I'm up out of here. I'm about to go live not too long from now, and I will give a biblical breakdown of this story and what we should not do. I'll do that live on Hollywood Israelites, okay? Shout out to y'all that's been rocking with me. Bulls fan 25. I see you've been rocking with me for a minute. I appreciate that. Shout out to you. And I'll be back next Sunday with a live for Black Authentic Truth. All right, y'all. Peace.